welcome to Return of the Retro, episode 18. We're going to talk about Metroid Prime tonight. Today is Saturday, November 29th, at least for another few minutes here on the East Coast. And with me, first, I am Randark, and with me is Ervik. Ervik, welcome.
I am the Lizard King.
You're a creepy-looking dude with a small crown?
Yes.
Okay. What have you been playing this week, Ervik?
Warcraft, and more Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor. Just pretty much all of that. Just all that.
So you're one of the 10 million subscribers?
I am. I took a week off of work, not specifically to play Warcraft, weirdly enough. I had 7 days of vacation, technically a week and 2 days. I had 7 days of vacation to burn, and my wife doesn't have any left, so we couldn't take a trip or anything. So I was like, well, shit. I guess I'm going to play WoW for a week in my underwear. And then I did that, so here we are.
Well, at least you put underwear on. That's more than I would have done.
I had to after the staining the chair incident.
We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it at that because that's terrible. So just World of Warcraft, huh? That's a lot of Warcrafting.
It is. I bought Dragon Age Inquisition. I installed it on my Xbox One, and it has not been touched.
Excellent. Good job there.
All right. I will play it.
Nothing like paying full price for a game and never starting it until it's cheap.
Right. Well, the reason I wasn't even going to buy it because I knew I wasn't going to play it, but Target was giving out the strategy guide for free if you bought it, and I was like, okay.
Well, if it's free. Otherwise, I'll just use the interwebs.
Yeah. I was literally like, well, it's free. Okay. I can get on board with that.
For me, I've finished New Super Mario Wii, which I don't know if I discussed that I finished it in the last episode, but it's done. It's over with, finally. I finally beat that fucking game. The Bowser fight, too easy. Way too easy.
Yeah.
You just run, and you jump, and you jump, and you run, and you jump, and you run, and you jump. And that's what you've been doing the whole game, so you got those skills down pretty well. I thought some of the lower boss fights were much harder. But, yeah, so I started playing New Super Mario Bros. U again, and I'm kicking ass.
I was going to say, didn't you already play that game?
I started it, but I didn't finish it, so now I'm playing it straight through again, and I'm kicking ass in that game. But it was cool. It was the first time I've noticed in a Mario game you actually get to choose your path by going to one world or another when you get to, was it Silver Springs or some crazy crap like that?
Yes, sounds right.
Okay, well, whatever it's called. But yeah, it was like, I guess I'll choose water over, I think the other world was ice. So I'm like, yeah, I like to be able to stop.
Yeah, Ice Worlds can eat an icy dick.
And I've been playing Super Mario 3D Land on 3DS. I'm still 3-starring everything in there, and I'm halfway through World 4 on that. And I have like 60 lives, because that game is just super easy.
I think I got all but like 2 coins in that game, and I just never went back.
I burned through like 20 lives on one level, trying to figure out the specific mechanics of how to get a coin in that one. And I got them all back within 3 levels, just, having to run them a few times to get all the coins. It's really kind of ridiculous. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Heroes. Like, a lot. Like, leveling 3 characters from either 20 or level 1 up to level 50 in the past couple weeks. And that was all to make Cyclops that much better. And that's the only reason I was doing it. But this week...
So he started out great, now he's greater?
Yeah, literally I just walk into rooms and turn on the beam, go in a circle twice, and everyone is dead. It's pretty awesome. Boss fights can still be a little tough because he's not he's a fucking glass shield of pain. But he can lay out the fucking DPS. It's amazing. But I just discovered that the bonuses on the pets actually are quite helpful. If you log in today before 3 a.m. Eastern, you can get a Blackbird pet, which is awesome. So you got the little X-Men Blackbird flying around you. But if you submit 8 uniques to it, you get +3 energy, which is exactly what Cyclops needs, is plus the energy. So he's up to 15 energy, and I think I ended, when I finished the story of the game at level 60, I think I was at 9, now I'm up to 15. It's kind of insane.
All right.
In class, I've been playing idle games, and I knew about Cookie Clicker, so that's the first one I started playing, but a guy in the class showed me Clicker Heroes. And yeah, so basically I don't really pay attention in class anymore.
It's the problem. You're going to get yourself in trouble.
I don't think I am. I'm still... I finally am not the highest score on the latest Cisco test, but I still have the highest grade in the class. I'm not too worried there. The other class I'm doing it in is computer repair, which, let's be honest, if you've built your own PC every time you needed one for the past 15 years, except for the 2001 where I bought the HP when you took me out. Aside from that, I've built every one. I don't think I really needed to take this class too much. But I get my A+ cert afterwards, so there's that.
Oh, nice. Nice. I never actually got that. I took all the classes for it and just never got around to it.
The test is our final, so it works for me. And it's getting me a internship, so that's awesome.
Ooh, nice.
And then last night, since we didn't record, I decided to finish up Walking Dead Season 1. And the gameplay is not there in that game. It has no gameplay whatsoever, really.
No, it's a... what's the word I'm looking for?
Point-and-click adventure?
Yeah, like a... It's almost like...
Choose-your-own adventure novel?
Novel? Yeah, there you go. That's what I want.
And but the storyline's good enough that it's a great game. It was great to just live through that. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. What about on the home front? Anything cool happening?
No, we're still just getting into the house, getting everything kind of ready and set up. And
did you guys host Thanksgiving, or did you go to your parents' house or hers?
No, we went out to my parents' house. We hosted a party a couple weeks after we moved in. Nothing fancy. For Halloween. Becky always wants a party for Halloween. Her birthday is on the 16th of October. I'm sorry, the 15th of October. 15th or 16th.
You need to get that right.
Yeah, my mom's is the other day. Becky's is the 15th. I eventually figured out. Becky's is the 15th, and my mom's is the 16th, and I always get them backwards every time until I realize I've got them backwards and I fix it. But so every year, she never wants a present. She wants a party because she knows how much I hate parties and generally interacting with humans. And so
aren't you inviting your friends to this? It shouldn't be like, just interacting with the scum on the street.
They are some of my friends, and they're some of Becky's friends, and I don't like her friends a lot, which she hates. And it's a whole thing. But even then, I only like interacting with 2 of my friends at once. As soon as you get 8 of them in a room, it's there's too much going on. I'm gonna go play Call of Duty in the corner.
Or drink a lot of Sour Jerry.
I do that. Oh. I have a whole... somebody got me a half gallon of that.
Holy shit.
Some occasion. It's sitting on my counter. I promise not to drink it all at once this time.
For me, this time.
Not make promises. let me not make promises I can't keep.
Hey, at least you didn't end up finishing the whole half gallon of Jack that one time, okay?
I tried.
Yes, you did. First, it was the night of the 3 of us drinking it, and me realizing that the 2 of you were fucked. And then having to clean up some souped up, chicken noodle soup with rice extra. It was fucking terrible. You 2 puked and stunk the whole fucking place up.
I swear he puked in his shoes. He still says I did it.
I think he did it too, because I thought you only puked in the bathroom and then laid in it, but...
It was warm.
Oh, Navy days.
So gross. So very gross.
But for me this week, I got to run for the first time since my surgery. It was about 16 steps, 4 at a time, up and down the hallway, but it was running.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't run, but not because of an injury, because I am fat and lazy.
I'm both fat and lazy myself, but I like to run for a sport, and if this gets me back into playing something where I'm not sitting at home all day, every day, I'll at least appreciate that.
Yeah, my goal, I've actually got a personal goal to run a 5K by my birthday of next year, so I've been kind of getting out and about myself slowly. Ugh.
Well, that's nice for you. You don't have to worry about slipping in the fucking snow, of which we got 2 fucking feet during that Buffalo storm.
No, I went out today in shorts.
We
That's
had
great.
like 60-degree weather. A couple days later, we had flooding issues.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So that was the other part of my news was digging out of the snow. The best part of that was Friday, not this week, but last week, Friday. Everything had already, it finished snowing and everything. I cleaned up the driveway. The wife went to work. I went upstairs to change for work and take a shower. I come back down and the sidewalk plow guy had come by, dropping literally boulders of snow knee-high into my fucking driveway. Now, I'm wearing nice clothes, I'm wearing a nice leather jacket, and I'm going out to see clients for the company I work for, and now I have to pull out my 30-plus-year-old snowblower that's probably older than me, and, it doesn't have much of an exhaust anymore. It's just basically a cloud of smoke. So you end up stinking afterwards, and I had to fucking clear that shit because my little tiny car wasn't going to get over it. But I'm paying them to do that when I'm legally required to clear my own sidewalk. So what the fuck am I paying him for?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Next place I move to will either not have sidewalks or will be in a track, and I won't care.
Or, and let me put this out there, it could not have snow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's an option. Although I would like to move somewhere without snow. Everyone's up here. Both sides of our family are up here. It's hard to move somewhere else.
You move down to Florida, the rest of your family's getting old enough, they're going to want to come to Florida too, and we'll all just party down here in the old people state.
But then I gotta look out for all them fucking drivers who crash into buildings every week.
Nah, they're fine.
So we had a funny story at Thanksgiving. My grandmother is losing her mind, literally. And so she can't remember who my wife is at all. She doesn't recognize her at all. So we started calling her the girl from the trailer park next door who comes over for her holidays and is fucking one of her grandsons. She didn't have a name, but that's how they referred to her in front of Grandma. So that was kind of awkward. But then Grandma says at dinner, "Oh, Terry and Karen, this dinner was so good. You guys always do a great job." And I about lost my shit laughing because my mom's name is not Karen. My dad's name is Terry, and that's her first son. Her daughter's name is Karen. And so I just completely lost it and laughed my ass off at that at the table. My shirt was my face was the color of my shirt, bright red. It was hilarious, and Grandma couldn't understand why I was laughing.
We're laughing at your dementia, Grandma. At your dementia.
Last year, at Christmas, my cousin pulled out a guitar and started playing the Sodomy song from Family Guy. And, and Grandma actually asked, "So what's sodomy?" And then we're looking at each other like, how do we explain this to her?
Have you ever heard of Sodom and Gomorrah?
And I'm like, "Grandma, it's in the song. The end there, cowboy butt sex?" And she's like, "Butt sex? What's butt sex?" I'm like, "Okay, we're done here." Then my cousin proceeded to get her convinced that crack was a good thing and that she should try it.
Awful people doing awful things.
The worst part is she's so far gone. It's like it's not my grandmother anymore, and that's what really hurts. But it's easier to make fun of it,
Yeah, I feel you.
I also set up all my consoles again. They're all connected to a 27-inch Sony CRT. Every single one of them's connected, although because some of them are running through RF modulators a few times, they got some lines in it, like my Atari 2600 is on the end of that line. But I now know the Atari I bought last winter does in fact work.
Nice.
And I wanted to talk to you about the Star Wars teaser trailer and what you thought of it, and if you got any reaction at all, because it was basically 30 seconds of, oh, they did cool visuals. I would hope they do cool visuals.
Yeah, it's, everyone lost their minds kind of over it, and I was like, we all knew it was going to be pretty. It's a J.J. Abrams film. And if there's one thing he can do, it's make a pretty-ass movie. The problem is going to be the script. You know what I mean? Like, are we going to... Because I got to be honest, as big a Star Trek fan as I am, those two new Star Trek films, even though they're fun to watch, are bad movies. The scripts are bad. The plot is bad. It doesn't make sense.
I like the plots. I find the plots interesting. I like them, but I'll agree with you on the script. The script could be much better.
I guess the plot, there's nothing necessary, well, except in the second one, because when you have magic blood that can resurrect anyone, now you've cured death in the universe, and they've proven they can clone it. So essentially, they've cured all illnesses and death in the Star Wars Trek universe in that second movie, which is a little absurd. But it's kind of a hot mess. The dialogue doesn't make sense. Shit doesn't kind of go together right. But I was never worried the movie's going to look pretty. What is dumb is a lightsaber with a lightsaber cross hilt. What the shit is that for?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that? Is that to stop the other lightsaber from coming down the length of your blade? Because it seemed to me when they connected in the previous movies that they just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
you didn't see much
together.
Grinding, slipping down towards your hand at all.
They never did that. And in the style that all the fighting is done in the 4, 5, and 6, not necessarily in 1, 2, and 3, but in 4, 5, and 6, all the fighting is very sweepy, very loopy arcs of swinging. And swinging the sword that way, while is very inefficient on the whole, that is how we've established they fight. You would stab yourself with a crossguard 9 times.
Right.
You would impale yourself pretty much nonstop.
It'd be fine if you had a basket hilt on there that, rotated around your hand as you moved. But putting live, basically plasma out the sides of the hilt, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, no. You're going to chop off a thumb at best, and you're going to impale yourself at worst. It's just not... No, don't do it.
Did you notice they addressed the what's it called? The satellite dish on top of the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, they made it all squat and flat and, weird looking, so that it wouldn't get knocked off every time they flew under something.
Yeah, because it got knocked off in the last Death Star sequence. And I thought about it, I'm like, that's not right as it flew by, and then I remembered that scene. I was like, oh, that's something they actually did pay attention to and take care of. So that gives me a little hope. Just that little touch gave me a little hope that the movie's going to be good, but I don't know. I'm still pissed off that they killed the entire alternate universe off.
Yeah. Oh, you did tell me, by the way, that the Heroes thing to get the pet. So I was like, oh, I'll launch Heroes in the background while we're doing this. It's a little update. And it just finally, the splash screen came up. And why is Hulk wearing armor? What good is that?
You didn't read World War Hulk? It's not that armor, I'll give you that. But
yeah, he just wore, I don't know what that was. But it wasn't that. He's wearing, power armor, almost Iron Man armor.
Or Thor armor.
Yeah, Thor might be more apt. Yeah, it's just weird looking.
Yeah, the splash screen's a little weird there. I'm sure there's a reference, because everything they do in that game has a reference somewhere, but I don't know that one. Anyway, you want to talk about the first news story?
Sure thing. We are talking about the HDMI Boy. It's a fun name for the record. There's a Kickstarter out to make a Game Boy that has an HDMI output and an NES controller as an input, which is super cool.
Is it?
Oh yeah, there's so many good games on the Game Boy that I'd love to play again, but I don't want to play on a tiny, tiny thing that sucks up 95 batteries at a time. I guess it's still going to suck up 95 batteries at a time, because it's not going to plug in or anything, but, I guess. That's still cool, right?
The technology's cool, the fact someone wants to do it's cool, but it's just, I don't know, it doesn't seem that great to me. What?
The biggest problem is it's super expensive. You're looking at, what is this, 115 pounds, which is $150 for your own to do it yourself, or 350 pounds, or euros, I guess. So I don't know what that translates into.
I can go get a Super Game Boy for $10 down at the store, and I can plug that into my $40 Super Nintendo and use an RF modulator out into my HD TV.
But then it's not all pretty in HD, you see.
But it's not much different in HD.
Man, you don't know. You don't know.
You're right, I don't. I don't have one in front of me. But how could it be? It's terrible pixels.
I like the idea. I will not be backing or buying this. I hope somebody does. I think it's very cool. There's a lot of really good games on the old Game Boy. You've got Super Mario Land. You had Link's Awakening.
Link's
and
Awakening
you had
is the first Zelda game I ever played and finished.
And the first Pokemon was on the original
and
game.
I played that.
So, it's a good game collection. It'll be nice to see that supported. And as long as it looks really good, maybe down the road, once they iron out how much it's going to cost and get it down to something reasonable, I'd pick one up.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't. If I'm going to play a Game Boy game, put it in my hand. I'll play it when I'm on the road. Or I'll play it Virtual Console. Because that's the best way.
Yeah. Well, if Nintendo would put out the shit I want to play on Virtual Console.
There is that.
But here we are.
So, from one handheld to another, someone has programmed Smash Brothers for a calculator. And I watched the video, it's actually a GIF of the play, and it looks terrible, like any calculator game would, but it is Smash Brothers. There's only a couple playable characters right now, but they got a screen going. You can run and jump, and it keeps track of your life by percentages and everything.
The real question is, can you play multiplayer?
Yes, you can over. I think it was either their link cable or I'm not sure how calculators connect these days, but yes, multiplayer is available.
The TI-84 probably uses a link cable. You said it was an 84, right, or is it a newer one?
83 or an 84.
Yeah, so they still use a link. So yeah, that's impressive. Like that.
It really is impressive.
That's really impressive. Like, I mean, the game in general is impressive, but getting multiplayer to work over a TI-83 link cable, like that's something.
That's special programming there. Oh, you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah. Speaking of Nintendo HD, a different company Kickstarter is trying to fund it actually reached its target goal already. So it's trying to provide Mega Drive and Super Nintendo consoles with HDMI outs. And then there's another one that hasn't reached its funding that is trying, and that's the one this article is actually about. So keep in mind, we've already got the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo that have HDMI out. This company is trying to get the NES to have HDMI out. That would be awesome. This I'm actually really excited about because I don't have a CRT anymore, and playing NES or Super NES on a LED looks like absolute shit.
Well, you could just, go to Craigslist and get one for free most any day of the week, especially this season while everyone's getting new TVs.
Man, it's probably got drugs in it and stuff. Like, somebody hid their weed stash in it. I don't want all that. That happens all the time on Craigslist, by the way. People will, give shit away or sell shit and leave their drugs in it. I've seen, 90 articles about it.
See, I've never been that lucky.
It used to happen at GameStop all the time. Like, you would open a game for trade, and there's just a dime in there, and you're like, you can keep this. It had to have happened once a month. Like, somebody would just open it, and there's just, a dime bag in there. You're like, man,
how hard is it to look before you come in?
Right. The weirdest thing, this only happened once, but I opened up a game, and it was a Vice City game, actually, Vice City for the PS2, and a bunch of cutouts from Lingerie magazine fell out. And it was like a 12-year-old kid and his mom, because you have to have a trained adult, and they just spilled out everywhere. He went through and cut them out, painstakingly. And they all slide out on the table, and I was like, I just kind of ignored it. I was like, this game's worth $1.50. Do you want to trade this in? And the mom clearly her brain was imploding. You can see the vein on the side of her head. She couldn't decide if she could hit the kid in public, and she just, she's not in here. God, why?
I'm so
just
embarrassed.
Everyone go away. But no, I'm all for setting up HD on these older games. I can go play Super Mario 2 in HD. Beat me up some rats. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is it looks like everything's expanded on, width-wise to match the new widescreen format, and it's not actually keeping the same aspect ratio, which is an issue for me.
I think there's a way to keep the aspect. It won't be, perfect, but I think they can get pretty close. It will leave black bars on your system when it does it, though.
Oh, I don't care about that. I mean, as long as you're not running a plasma, you don't got to worry about burning anyway. So the black bars aren't a big deal.
Can you even buy plasma anymore? Is that a thing?
I think you can because it's still the highest quality contrast ratio. Not contrast. Something else. The problem is it's so energy inefficient that you can't really deal with it.
I think I don't think that's really a thing anymore. I'm sure you can still get them, but like in the high end shops, because if you want like the blackest blacks or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's for me.
And speaking of Super Game Boys that we mentioned earlier, our next article is actually about a guy who took a Super Game Boy, put Pokemon Blue in it, and then somehow rigged it up so it all fit inside a Super NES cart. And then put his own label on and everything so he can play Pokemon Blue straight via a Super Nintendo console, which is kind of cool.
That's actually really impressive.
Yeah, there's a whole guide on how to do it if you want to do it yourself. It's kind of a waste of a Super Game Boy since you can swap games out of a Super Game Boy, and in this case it's just one cart. But it is pretty cool. I mean, he took the time to make a really nice label and everything, that was on a sticker to put it on there, and gave you a complete guide on how to solder it up. Although he should have used color-coded wires, not all blue. But that's the electronics technician talking in me, and not, the hobbyist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And it shows up on the screen. I never played a Super Game Boy. Does it add obviously it adds the color, but why does it seem to have a lot more color than a Game Boy when you play non-Game Boy Color games?
I never owned one. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Good enough for me.
I'd like to know as well. But I never played one.
All right, I guess that's the end of our news this week, or this month, or whatever we're going to call our time frame. In this case, it was like 3 weeks, but whatever. So I guess that brings us into our main game, Metroid Prime. And Metroid Prime is a first-person Metroidvania. Yes, that's right, I said first-person. Retro Studios, who developed it, went ahead, and they were developing actually a couple other games with their first-person engine. And this is the only game that wasn't canceled on that engine. It was...
Yeah. Which is... I remember when this game was coming out, people were like, there's no way, that's going to suck. This game is not meant to be first person.
Do you know why? Because you can't platform first person. But somehow they fucking figured that shit out. It was published by Nintendo, directed by Mark Pacini, or Pacini, I'm not exactly sure. And it was released in North America on November 17th, 2002, so it is now officially 12 years old. It was released in Japan in 2003, February 28th. The EU was March 21st in 2003, and Australia got the bone with April 3rd of 2003.
And they probably paid more for it like they do for everything.
Yeah.
Damn Australians.
Fucking stupid laws over there. Metroid Prime became one of the best-selling games on the GameCube. It was the second best-selling game of November of 2002 in North America, behind Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Not the also released that year Halo 2, I think, came out that year. Might have been Halo 1. Did Halo 1 come out in 02? Yeah, it did. Because Halo
02 or 03?
Halo 2 came out later, so yeah, that's it. So yeah, it beat out Halo 1, which its predecessor did not do with 2, but that's for other reasons. 250,000 units were sold in the first week of its release, and as of July 2006, the game has sold more than 1.49 million copies in the US alone, and earned more than $50 million. Metroid Prime has met with universal acclaim. Electronic Gaming Monthly awarded the game a perfect review score, which is rare. It won numerous Game of the Year awards and was praised for its detailed graphics and special effects and varied environments. The moody soundtracks and sound effects and level design, immersive atmosphere, and innovative gameplay centered on exploration were also lauded. And that was in sharp contrast to action games such as Halo. And it stayed true to the Metroid formula. Metroid Prime appeared on several lists of best games. It was ranked Ranked 23rd in IGN's Top 100, 29th in the 100 game list chosen by GameFAQs, and 10th in Nintendo Power's Top 200 Nintendo games ever. And IGN named Metroid Prime the best GameCube title of all time. Do you agree with that?
Off the top of my head, yeah. I have to look at the list, but I think that's pretty accurate.
GameSpy rated Wind Waker and Resident Evil 4 above it. And I played both of those on the Wii and the Wii U, and nope, I'm going to go with Prime is better than those. Although I don't know if it's better than Eternal Darkness. They're both really good.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot about Eternal Darkness, and we've covered that goddamn game. Eternal Darkness and Wind Waker are both right up there with it. Resident Evil 4, I'm a weirdo. I don't like Resident Evil 4 very much. I know it's everyone's favorite, but for me it was the game that killed the series because it's the game that moved away from puzzle-solvey, slow-paced survival horror to 95 billion bullets, kill everything action game. So I can understand that it was a good game. I personally lament the death of the Resident Evil series with 4, so I don't know.
Since 4 is the only one I've really played, I can't have that same view. Oh, I should probably switch our video to talk about the game and not about the Pokemon Blue. That would be good. Anyway, you want to talk about the story?
So I wrote in my notes here, batshit crazy, because it is. So off the top of my head, let's see if I can remember this. So Samus starts the game. She gets a distress signal from the space pirates. I forget the frigate's name. Orpheus? Is it Orpheus?
Sure. We'll call it that.
Maybe it was Orpheon. I don't know. So the pirates were murdered by their own genetic experiments. I don't know what pirates were doing, genetically modifying anything.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up right there.
You're either pirates or you're genetic experiment scientists. I don't think you get to be both.
You do in space.
Maybe they were like, oh man, we totally looted this really sweet science gear. Let's do something with it. I don't want to sell it. Let's make monsters. So you start the game in true sequel fashion back. They don't really do this so much anymore, but a few of the Zelda games started this way. And a few of the Castlevania games start this way, where you start with all your beefy powers. You're badass, right? And you show up and you're fucking up all these little parasites that are everywhere. And you get to the center of the ship. There's this big ass parasite, and you're like, oh shit, space pirates done fucked up, and I'm fucked up bad. And then you murder the big parasite, and during the fight, the ship starts to explode. You go to escape, and your power armor gets all damaged. So then you lose all your sweet weapons. And it's womp womp.
You do lose your weapons, but you don't actually have everything you can find in the game. You only have the power beam to start with and shit like that.
You get the power beam. I think you have the thermal to start with.
No, just the scanner. I'm watching the
just
video
the scanner.
right now.
Yeah. You get a few things anyway. You feel more power, and then immediately you're like, oh man, you just get a little beam. Oh, you could turn into a ball and do bombs at the beginning, right?
Yep, and you had the charge beam as well.
So you get all that crap taken from you, and after the fight, you see Meta Ridley. I would have gone with Mecha or something, a big weird robot version of Ridley from the first game, and the second game, and the third game. The big pterodactyl monster.
Mm-hmm.
Why he's still around, why they decided to make a terrifying monster even more terrifying, I don't know. So you follow him for whatever. That seems like a good idea. My ship's damaged, my suit's damaged. I'm gonna follow this super monster to the planet. That makes sense, right? So you follow this awful monster to the planet, which is Talon 4, I want to say?
Yep.
And you land in this rainforest, and throughout the game, you discover that the Chozo from all the previous games, the weird aliens that don't exist anymore, this was their home world, and it many years ago, something destroyed their race and fucked up the planet, and at the same time mutated some of the planet, it was a meteor, I believe, or something, and it brought
meteor fell with what was the
Phazon?
The Phazon.
Yeah. This green shit, essentially. And it turns, and it also apparently brought this big ass creature called the worm. And the Chozo built this big old temple over the crater to contain the Phazon and the worm, and it didn't work super well. So the planet still kind of got all jacked up. And basically, the whole game, for whatever reason, you spend unlocking and digging into this temple. I was never very clear on why. You're like, I don't know, man. There are doors I want to unlock.
As you're going through it, you realize the Chozo know who you are, and
yeah, and
they have like prophecies for your future. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's like if you landed on a planet and you saw a big picture of yourself and went, "You're a hero, do some shit," and you didn't immediately go, "Nope." Like if I like went to Cincinnati and there's like a billboard of my face and they're like the Chozo, and I'm like, no, I'm going home. Fuck all you people. I don't know what any of this is. I don't care for it.
I don't. Think
and frankly, I think you're playing a joke on me.
I don't think you would.
So
you would use it in a god complex.
Probably. I rule you all with an iron fist. So you spend the whole game collecting artifacts and power-ups to fight bosses, to get more artifacts, to unlock the temple for I don't know why.
To try to save the planet. I mean, you one of the first bosses you fight, you take out the poison that's affected everything.
Yeah, you're trying to kill the worm so that you save the planet from the corruption. That's right. Which, spoilers, is what the sequel's about. So, well, the sequel.
Yeah, the Wii game.
So yeah, that's it. You spin the whole thing, and the very last boss before the big boss is Meta Ridley. So you spend like 12 hours hunting down all your power-ups just to fight this winged bastard again, and he's hard as shit.
I haven't gotten quite that far yet, so
I didn't get to him either. I remember the first time I played this game, like, it was the only hard part of the whole game. Like, I got shit on. Like, violently. It was, like, violent.
One of the things this game added that was really cool to me was the scanner visor, which is how they tell the story for you.
Yeah, no, the scanner is really cool, and I do like that this game does one of my favorite things, which Resident Evil is really good at, is telling a story through... it's the same thing people were all batshit over for Bioshock, where they don't beat you over the head with cutscenes. It's the information's there if you look for it, but you never have to kind of interact with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you read the logs and you listen to the logs and you put your scanner on and look at the various stuff in this game, you get backstory, like what this is and why it's here. But you can kind of ignore that if you want to, which to me is super neat because it lets people experience a game differently. If you just hit me over the head with a cutscene every 3 seconds, I'm going to start zoning out, basically. Like, but if I can interact with it on my own terms, I enjoy that more, weirdly.
No, I completely agree with you. I would much rather take the time to explore and find the information myself than to have it served to me on a platter. Because at that point, I'm watching a novel, you know? Anyway, you got anything else you want to say about the story?
Spoilers, the boss is a Metroid.
Damn it! You're a dick.
Take that.
I can't unhear that.
Guess what his name is?
Let me guess. Metroid Prime?
It is. Because, I don't know, Japanese people are weird, man.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
How'd you not see that coming?
I kind of did, but at the same time, I was like, really? You had to reveal it.
I did.
You dick.
You had to say it twice in true Metroid form.
Well, at least this time the Metroid's not going to come in and eat the head of the bad guy, right?
No.
Okay.
No. No, you don't get your ass handed to you and saved by a tiny Metroid.
So gameplay. You once again take up the mantle of Samus Aran, this time from a first-person perspective as you explore Talon 4. And you need to recollect all your upgrades as we talked about. And there's some new cool ones that I really like. Like the Spider Ball lets you go up magnetic tracks by using basically magnets to climb shit, which is awesome.
Am I the only one that's ever thought about how flexible Samus must be? Like, I bet she is great in the sack.
Exactly. No, you're not. And because you're first-person view, certain flashes and stuff will show her eyes. She's got great eyes that reflect off the visors.
Yeah, no, it's the graphics in this game were surprisingly detailed for its time.
They're still really good. I mean, looking at them compared to the next generation Wii games, it's just as good. Maybe not as Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, but most every Wii game does not look this good. So there's once again you have the morph ball, and they were smart. Instead of trying to control that in first person, which would be fucking terrible, you can control it third person. Or you have to control it third person.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I use that to my advantage sometimes because I would get kind of lost because the way the camera works, you can't look around and move. So I would literally morph ball so I could move and see. Like I would.
Yeah, the only way you can move and see is if you lock on a target, and then if that's what you want to look at while you move, because it uses only the left stick for viewing and moving, and you have to.
Which was a nice addition, by the way, that lock and move. Like I think the game would have been much harder without that.
If it didn't have the lock on ability, it would have been next to impossible to maneuver and kill things without dying. The right trigger actually lets you switch between movement and viewing. Which sometimes I get, I'm moving around and I use that to point somewhere and I lock on and I forget to let go. I'm like, shit, I can't move. Let go of your fucking right hand, Pete. Yeah, I'm dumb. But that happens sometimes. And we talked about the scanner visor. Not only can you get the storyline through it, but you also can get tips on how to beat bosses and just general enemies throughout the game, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's basically the only way I was able to figure anything out without a guide. And I've gotten pretty far in it without a guide. And it's a lot of fun. It's fun to the point of, searching and everything using the scanning visor, where I don't even want to look up a guide, because the game will tell me somewhere if I find it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So what do you think about the music and the sound effects?
I really liked them. They took a lot of the original music and, retooled it and brought it up to the present, and at the time anyway, and did good work. For instance, the main theme on the overworld, when you first land, is the Brinstar theme from the original Metroid game.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear that again.
And I really like the music. They did pretty good work. It was, let's see. Yeah, I have this written down in my notes. Kenji Yamamoto, who was assisted by Koichi Kayuma, did the music. And almost all the music was retooled from the first set of games. Not all of it. There was some new stuff. But of note, you could actually listen to it in surround sound. I didn't, but I found that out, and I was like, ooh, that would have been neat.
Yeah, I did do that, and it was pretty cool. When I first started the game, I had it hooked up to my 55-inch, and I have a surround sound system connected to it, and it comes out the two phono plugs with the formatting, and it was pretty cool to sit there in the room and, hear a noise and spin around so the noise followed you around like we used to do in my dorm room when I first got the 4 speakers with Deus Ex Machina. No, it was just Deus Ex.
Now that's a great game.
That was a great game.
Anyway. On target. Stay on target.
I'm too close.
Speaking of Star Wars, Fort Porkins.
Fucking
fat piece of shit.
It's 2 episodes in a row we done him. Or no, it wasn't. We fucked with him.
Who
16.
Like, who names you Porkins? That's like, I don't know, man. Fatty McFatterson. This is Fatty McFatterson reporting it.
Once again, there it goes. Video was stuck for a minute, but it's back. I'll go back to the featured game and see if it continues. Anyway, so to me, the game held up surprisingly well. The controls are outdated, but they still hadn't come out with a great way to control a first-person shooter with Halo yet. It came out at the same time, so they didn't have that to go off of and use their small analog stick for looking around. Instead, it's used to choose your beam weapon.
The GameCube controller is just a hunk of shit.
You know, the more I use it, the more I like it, but I would much rather not have a giant fucking A button.
Just give me an Xbox controller, man. What were you people thinking, you weird Japanese people? Just give me an Xbox controller.
And it's not all Japanese, because the PlayStation controller's not terrible.
That's actually what I want. Like, next time we read one of these news articles about somebody made dumb shit for some dumb thing from 20 years ago, someone make an Xbox controller that works with a GameCube. That's what I want.
The Smash people would just shit on you. Did you hear that the GameCube adapter for Wii U is sold out and is now going for upwards of $100?
What?
Yeah, because people want to play Smash Brothers, the new Smash Brothers, with a GameCube controller on their Wii U. And they want to do it with a wired connection, so that adapter has to be purchased. You can get wireless fucking GameCube controllers now for the Wii U, but no, we want to have that fucking adapter. They make
a Pro controller. That shit is way better.
Right?
It's an Xbox controller. Right? That's what I want all the time.
These Smash people are fucking nuts with that shit.
I don't get the Smash Brothers, like, love. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't like fighting games in general. But it's like, hey, want to watch me cartoonily beat your ass and you can't press anything? Because I'll lock your ass down and beat you off. Ew. Phrasing.
I like playing fighting games with friends on a couch, but it's no fun for me to sit there and play them online against people I don't know. You know, I like the first player, or the single player stuff, and I'm asking for it for Christmas, but it's so much more fun when you can play a fighting game against somebody who's right next to you and you can fucking shit on them for being terrible.
This is the trick, is that, like, most games, like Call of Duty and stuff, require skill. You've got to be good. And there is modicum of skill in a fighting game, but 90% of it is who memorized the most combos.
Right.
And that's not fun to me. Like, I don't want to do homework. Like, if Call of Duty required me to throw a grenade and to up, down, right, A, like, no. I'm not fucking playing that game. Just like I'm not playing Smash Bros.
Anyway, how did you feel this game held up? Did you have any particular interests in that?
No. Actually, I think it held up really well aside from the controls. The looking and moving thing was a big point to me, but I kind of got used to it. I still hated it, like, immensely. And this is the GameCube controller. I want to smash it with a goddamn hammer. I hate it so much. It's the worst. There was a tiny little yellow nubbin. Like, what were you people thinking? Like, what is that shit? You know.
and it's analog, and you're using it in the cardinal directions in this game. So sometimes you load up the wrong beam weapon. That pissed me off.
It's just the fucking worst. Aside from that, I think the game held up surprisingly well. It looked, damn near as good as some Wii games. The story was, over the top and fun, but that's what Japanese people do. Look at Metroid, Jesus.
Yeah, good job.
I don't look at Metal Gear. That game doesn't make any batshit sense. So, I really liked the game. It held up really well, I think, aside from the controls. But, what are you gonna do?
There was something I wanted to say, and now it's gone from my... save points. Did you think they were spaced out well?
There are a few places I could have used more save points.
Like when you first meet the space pirates? That's where I got fucked.
Especially with all the backtracking, I feel like they should have been a little more accessible.
I still feel they were way better than Super Metroids.
Oh, yeah, no. Super Metroid can screw you very hard.
For me, it felt like right when I was like, come on, I gotta go do something else, I would find one within 5 minutes when I had to get up from the machine, which is kind of nice. But
I will say, they're way better than the original Resident Evil, which you apparently have never played. The original Resident Evil, you had to find a typewriter, and you had to have an item in your inventory. You had to loot them, and there was a finite number of them in the game. There were typewriter ribbons, so if you ran out...
You only got to use a ribbon once? Could you imagine that in real life? How terrible that would have been?
Yeah, every save was one typewriter ribbon, and you could bone yourself pretty hard.
Alright, so normally I go first and score out of 10. I'm going to let you go first.
I think this is an 8.5. I love this game. It held up really well. It's probably closer to an 8, but my nostalgia factor was high. So I'm sticking with the 8.5. We're splitting the difference.
And I tend not to give half points, so I'm just going to go with strong 8 again. It's almost as good as Super Metroid. Almost. I just like 2D more than I like the 3D. And because of the 3D, the control scheme's weird. That's the only thing that takes off any points from the same score I gave in Super Metroid. The backtracking's fine. When I play a Metroid game, I expect to backtrack a ton. Because that's what a Metroid game is. Boss fights were creative. Very interesting. I think at that point in my life, if I'd played it when it came out, I wouldn't have seen a lot of the same archetypes for the monsters, which would have been really cool to see. Obviously, since then, you've basically seen every monster type that could be created. But yeah, so the only thing that's bad is the control scheme, and it's bad enough that I take the full 2 points off.
It is just the worst.
But it's not like Silent Hill bad where the game is unplayable. We're making it sound worse than it really is.
Yeah, no, the game is still a lot of fun. Like, go do it. Yeah, but there will be times where you die because you're looking at your goddamn feet and can't figure out how to not do that.
Man, I can't wait to go back and finish it. It's just going to be awesome. So we got some guest plug-in, I guess you can call it. He wasn't really a guest on our show, but I was a guest on his. Roger from Contains Modern Apparel invited me earlier this month to do an episode with them. And we did it right after BlizzCon, so we talked about Overwatch a bit and do our players actual wealths of knowledge that developers should use or not. It's not the most recent episode of Contains Modern Apparel, but the previous two are the ones I'm on. And please, go ahead and listen to the show. It's a great show with a great host. And the conversations are always interesting. So, yeah, check them out, containsmodernapparel.com. And we're on some new stuff this month. There's a new... I hate to describe it this way, but it's kind of like Facebook for gamers. It's not really that, but it's the easiest way to describe it. It's called a Nook. And we got our show on there. You can check us out there. It's basically just a link back to our page until they can come up with some better stuff for retro gamers. But there's communities for all sorts of modern games on there that are active, and you got people posting videos and just discussing things in the game. It's pretty interesting. And of course, you can check us out on Twitter as well at Return Retro. And our website is returntotheretro.com. Yay! Oh, speaking of which, I forgot to guilt you on this earlier. Have you read my blog yet?
No.
Dick.
I'm a bad friend.
But yeah, I'm going to plug that real quick. Tomorrow I should have my complete review of Walking Dead Season 1 spoiler-free as well. That should come out. It's already written. I just got to add some media to it, pictures and shit.
That has to be. Can you imagine a review that spoiled that? Because 99% of that is like playing, like seeing it, because the gameplay doesn't exist.
Right, and that's basically what I talk about. Is the gameplay is fucking terrible, but storyline is so good that you need to pick it up and play it. And today, if you're listening to this live, which you're not because there's no one watching it live, you can pick it up for $8.50, I think it was, on Steam, which is a good deal for the entire season. Yeah. So there's that. You can do that, and if you're gonna do that, pick me up a copy of Season 2 and send it to me because I'm poor. Anyway, I think we're going to get out of here, unless you got something more.
No. Don't forget to have your pets spayed and neutered.
Thank you, Bill. Bill? Bob.
Bob Barker. Bob.
Bill Cosby's been in the news for his bullshit involving sexual organs, so I got kind of confused.
Man, he apparently loved non-consenting sex a lot.
But who's surprised by this? I mean, first of all, why does everyone come out of the woodwork after one person? So I don't believe anyone after the fact. They're just money grubbers. The first person, I'll try to believe your statements and at least give you the benefit of the doubt. But anyone who's jumping the bandwagon, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
They're just trying to go lick his pudding pop again.
Gross.
Okay, on that note, I think we should get out of here. Oh, you done?
Yes.
All right, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.